What's up, everybody? It's your boy SC1 back on another episode of Meet the Hobby, and this is going to be the first of its kind on the channel. We got a custom card maker by the name of LJ Custom Cards. How you doing, LJ?
Hey, I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm excited to do this video. Got to meet this gentleman at the Mint Collective in Vegas a couple weeks ago, and man, I can't tell you, I'm pretty excited to showcase what he's doing, what he's about, and all that stuff. So, LJ, tell me how this all transformed. Like, did you start off as a collector? Like, what was the vision behind?
Yeah, and so, as a kid, I collected, and then once, middle school, high school, you kind of get into other hobbies and things. And then I got back into it during the pandemic, like a lot of people did. And then I realized I was spending way too much money getting back into collecting. So I wanted to stay in the hobby, not have to spend money. And so I went out to Walmart and bought an X-Acto knife. And I started there, just started cutting things up. Like some of my early stuff, it's rough. It's really rough. And so that was about a year and a half ago. That was like November-ish of 2020. And it's just progressed. I'm a teacher, so I was working at home for over a year. So I was bored, and so I had time to experiment with different things. And then, became official LLC in October. So, as meant, that was my first vending experience, and so things just continue to grow.
Oh, awesome. So, with it being your first vending experience, was that the first actual show you've been to? Did you get like insight from other card shows that you went to, and this is how I want to set up, this is how I, this is how I want to present my product?
Exactly. And so I went to the National last year, and then I also went to the Collectors Con in Tampa, and I didn't really prepare for the National. I think I bought my plane ticket the morning I left, and so I just kind of brought what I had for trade nights and stuff, but I actually prepared for the Collectors Con. And I brought like a lot of Tampa stuff because it was in Tampa and no one wanted any of the Tampa stuff. So I realized, I made a lot of Wander, Randy or Rosarina. I mean, Tom Brady, but people want Tom Brady anyways. But no one really wanted the other Tampa stuff. And so I realized just make big names. Kobe, LeBron, Steph, Ja Morant. And so that's what I really kind of learned from those shows is don't make too much Vegas stuff. Just make big names that people want anyways.
Yeah, just stick to the popularity, and the popularity will control it.
Exactly.
So let's get into this different scene here. We're going to go into this showcase different cards that you are doing. And, speaking of Tom Brady, there he is. Is that, no, that's Mac Jones.
That's Mac Jones.
That's Mac Jones. So, I know very little of what goes into, there's Wander, that what goes into actually making cards and all that stuff. So, is there a particular amount of layers that you have to cut out, or do you just have a vision of how thick you want the card to be?
So I'd say like 95% of mine are fit into 130.1 touch. And so I know that it is about 6 to 7 cards thick. And that's how, you have the base layer, then I have 4 in between, make that 3D effect. And then the top layer, and then sometimes the nameplate will make it 7. So I know that, but sometimes, where's it at? Like using this medallion, this MLB medallion, it's super thick. So I'm going to have to make it like 12 cards thick, and either use 180 or 240.1 touch.
Wow. So as a custom card maker, do you see like new product that come out? Like for instance, like Prism. And you're like, ooh, like do you look at the card or do you look at like the framing and all that stuff and how your mind, is that how your mind is wired now?
100% the frame. Like I saw the new Prism, I'm like, oh, okay, like that's usable. But like last year with the new Topps design, it was so difficult. It's just kind of got those little etches in the side and it's real thin. So that's why I really like sticking with the Prism. And obviously most of it's shiny too. That's what draws people, and I love adding all the shine to it.
Yeah, I mean, like, Topps. One thing I've said this before in streams. One thing I hate about Topps is the lettering and all that stuff. Like, it's so tiny, and I mean, I wear glasses, so I struggle reading names. I could just only imagine you with an X-Acto knife trying to etch out a person's name. I mean, that's near impossible, right? Like.
Yeah, because I really can't use the nameplate from 2021 because it's so small, and then even 2022, it's a weird font and on that bar, but 2020 has a good nameplate, I will say, for baseball.
Well, that's cool. So when the vision started and you said you were getting into collecting, is there like one sport that you PC that kind of like, okay, I'm gonna start off with these cards?
Baseball for sure. I played baseball growing up. I played in college, and so I'm a huge baseball fan, and so I know the players, I know prospects, different things like that. So yeah, I got into collecting Joe Adele and Will Smith of the Dodgers because it was kind of cool because I actually played against them in high school. We were all in the same district. There's 4 teams, and we went to 3 different schools there.
Oh, that's awesome. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of everyone. It's a pretty well-known story. It's like the whole Bryce Harper, Chris Bryant, Javi Baez, Francisco Lindor. Like, those are the cool stories that you just talk about, and that's like the childhood dream. You play up with all your little league buddies or compete against them, and next thing you know, you guys are competing on the pro circuit together. Going, that grind. I was talking about this with my friends the other day, and I think baseball's grind to get to the majors is like no other, because you could get drafted and never see the light of day, and just sit in the minors for forever. I'm a Cubs guy, so like one guy that comes out to on top of my head, and don't get me wrong, he got paid for a decent amount of money, but Jeff Semarja. I think Jeff Semarja, if my memory serves me right, he was drafted in 2003, maybe 2004, and he didn't make his first big league appearance till 2009, 2006. And granted, yeah, he was making millions in the minors because of his draft contract, but they felt he wasn't ready. They felt he wasn't good. So it's just one of those. I appreciate baseball for that. In a sense of the grind.
There's just so many layers and different farm systems. You got to start here and you got to work your way here, and like I don't even know how many levels there are. Yeah, I feel like it changes, and it's truly insane.
Yeah, and like one success story was it a couple years ago? I think it was pre-pandemic, right before the pandemic happened. I'm located in Southern California, so they're in San Diego specifically, and there's a small city out here called El Cajon where Chad Musgrove from the San Diego Padres, he got called up. He's a San Diego native. Got called up, pitched, and wound up pitching a no-hitter that season. I mean, to be able to just be like, oh, I'm sleeping on my buddy's couch, and then you get that call, and then 2-3 games in, you pitch a no-hitter. It's just like, oh my god. I think if I remember correctly, that's the first time in the history of baseball a hometown kid ever pitched a no-hitter for his home team.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember when that happened, and actually been to San Diego, did the Petco Park tour, and this was right after he threw the no-hitter, so like his cleats, his jersey, his hat, they were all over the stadium in different places, and it was really cool.
Yeah, and Petco's it's a different kind of, how can I say it? I'm originally from Chicago, so I'm like an old Wrigleyville guy. So when I got to Petco, I mean, even Anaheim Stadium is more on the newer contemporary side of things, but Petco's pretty interesting. It's a pretty interesting park. You got business buildings lined up right next to the building, and then in the outfield behind, the scoreboard, you have a little picnic area. So I go to games a lot, and I'm not trying to throw shade at San Diego Padre fans, but there's a lot of other activities out there going on outside of the game. And I see a lot of people doing the other activities outside of rooting another team, which is kind of rough for me.
I can see that. Yeah, I can definitely see that for San Diego.
So as a baseball guy, I mean, are you born and raised in Tennessee?
Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, Kentucky. There we go. Man, I'm getting it all wrong. I'm close.
I mean, it's right there.
So how does it go how do you root for your baseball team? I think there's a farm system not too far from you.
We have the Reds AAA team here.
Yeah, we go.
And so growing up, I didn't really have a team. My dad wasn't really big into baseball. He was more football, but he's from Seattle. So geographically, my teams are all over the place. But actually, we ended up becoming big Reds fans, which I don't know was the best decision, but because it's about only an hour up 71. It's not too bad of a drive to go there, and we have the AAA team here.
Oh man, I mean Cincinnati. Well, again, I'm a Cubs fan, so I kind of understand. Even though we're in the same division, I understand the Cincinnati pain right now because I have no idea what Cincinnati did this offseason. Like, completely clueless. But it could be worse. I saw a post the other day where it comes to the Oakland Athletics, and I think the A's spent zero on free agency this season. All they did was
zero.
Make trades, and it's just like, oh, okay, so Moneyball is still in effect, and it's like, and it's so weird because the A's always compete. That's what's always funny because a lot of people talk crap, and the A's, the Rays, those guys are always competing. It makes zero sense to me. And then here we have the Cubs. I feel like we're shopping for free agents at the dollar store. And, everyone's, spending all this money. I'm like, dude, we're like the fourth richest franchise in MLB. Why are we so cheap right now? So back to your cards. I mean, is there a specific sport you like to stick to that's easier to create?
I will say easier to create, probably football. Basketball's probably the hardest because fingers are so hard to cut out. It takes a long time, but football, the logos are better, colors I think are better, and it's honestly more popular. Even though football is pretty much dead right now, I'm still making it because that's what people are buying. That's what people are ordering. The playoffs start next week, and basketball, unless you're making Steph, Luka, LeBron, Kobe, it's not the popularity's not there.
Interesting take. So, in terms of, I didn't even think about this. So, when you're making cards and people are buying as collectibles, they're not looking at cards the same way a standard card collector is collecting. So, card collectors, they buy pack, they buy into breaks, they buy, big hobby boxes, and they're looking for those rookies, right? That's generally what everyone's looking for. In your spectrum of the field, you're looking more of just the sheer popularity. No one's really caring about the rookie or anything like that, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so I'll bust open a hobby box and I'll get a stack of all the big names, and then I'll sleeve up the rookies sometimes. But for all the wanders I've opened, I've cut them up. But
people are gonna watch this video like, oh my god. He 3 cuts up Wander.
Oh yeah, 4 or 5 of them so far. We'll see.
Oh no, I mean, that's your niche, that's your industry, right? So
Exactly.
when you're looking for inspiration on what to make out of a card, you know, what's the next kind of design you want to go through? Do you communicate with other custom makers in your community and just kind of, you know, bounce ideas off one another?
We'll bounce ideas, because we all do have our own niche. Even though some of us it looks kind of similar, it's very much we've kind of established our thing, and that's what we do. But we do talk about. I remember talking to Sharkbait. He was at the Mint, and he was like, "What are you making for the Mint? Like, who are you bringing?" And I said, "Dude, you got just the big names." I said, "That's what you got to worry about." I said, "I'm gonna bring a little bit more baseball because, well, I signed up for the Mint. Baseball was supposed to be opening the next week, but now it's 2 or 3 weeks later." And so I said, a lot of baseball, just with the season opening, it's going to be hot. And so I was totally wrong on that because of the lockout. But yeah, I mean, most of us, we do kind of run commission based. So I always try to do like every 3 commission cards I'll make one for my store online. That way I can just still have stuff to be able to put in the shop. But like right now I'm working on a 50 card order. So that has had all of my time. And I'm still only at 15 cards. And I've been working since Saturday on that.
Oh wow. So when you're taking a time into a card, is there like an estimated time? Like say someone processes an order. How long does it generally take for you to make a card?
Once I have all of the stuff I need, it's about an hour and a half. I don't take like breaks for a card. Like I make it all in one setting. But the thing is, people are like, "Hey, can you have this done for me?" And it's kind of like, well, I got to order the stuff on eBay, and then I never know how long that's going to take. And then it kind of goes down the list. Once I have everything, I put it in the box in order of where they were placed. And then, so most of the time, if people are making it or placing an order, I'm telling them about 4 weeks right now. I'm hoping to get it done sooner. It's just that's the longest.
Gotcha. 50 card order. Does your hands cramp after a certain period? Like, okay, I gotta.
Oh yeah, like right now I've got a big old blister on my finger, and like at the end of the night, like both my arms are sore. Like I'm like, dang.
Nice. I could just only imagine. And then, watching the slides from the back, and knowing a couple people that are trying it and trying to get better at the craft. It takes a lot of work. The precision of an X-Acto knife is such an underrated technique. I wouldn't be able to do it. I'll tell you that much. I've seen this card a couple times now, and I love the Pokemon card because I love how you kept the amazing burst. All under, like, that is so cool. And what kind of Pokemon card was that originally?
Starts with a G. I want to say it wrong. Gyarados.
That's cool. I am an old school Pokemon collector, or I should say, I wouldn't say I'm a collector. I collected when my oldest daughter was younger, and I still have a bunch of we kept a lot of the cards. Me as an old collector, I knew better to penny sleeve and top load them, and so we had a set that we played with, and then we had a set that we just never used. And I still have a Blastoise, I still have a Charizard,
Awesome.
Yeah, so, I got a couple of them graded. Unfortunately, they come back as an 8, but, I'll take it. It's like I said, it's one of those, I can't believe I kept this card for 20-something years, it's just hanging out. So
I bet there's a binder in my parents' attic, and it's probably destroyed. I was probably so rough on every single card, and I was probably like, "Oh, Charizard, like sweet," and then it probably just got destroyed.
Oh yeah, and like I said, I had that. You played Pokemon?
Yeah, as a kid, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I got pretty heavily into the game when it first came out. I mean, I'm showing my age. This was 1999, and at that time, me and my wife at the time, we there's the video game store GameStop, and
Yeah.
before it was GameStop, and GameStop bought Babbage's. There was another company they bought out, was called Funko Land. And we used to manage a Funko Land store back in the day. And when Pokemon first came out, we didn't understand the craze that was going to come right behind it. So they were just like, buy some cards, get into collecting, all that stuff. And so I'm like, okay. I was like, it's a game. I was like, okay, let me try to learn the game. And, me and a couple people would play the game. But there was specific elements that I would not touch. Like for instance, the fire elements, like Charizard. Once I got a Charizard, like Charmander, Charmeleon, like those cards just went to the side. I never played those decks. I was always a psychic guy, and I was always a water guy. But those were two cards that I just never even touched because I knew the magnitude of the Charizard. So it's pretty interesting. So I'm curious, and this is an ongoing thing for instance, in our breaker world, and most breakers in the community are great. Like we're camaraderie. There's a lot of camaraderie going on. We'd like to support one another, but there's also that section of breakers where they're not so friendly with other breakers. Is it the same way in custom card community?
No. It's. I mean, there's a huge group chat on Instagram that we're all in. The ones that have been established. And we, like I said, we all bounce ideas. We send stuff in the group chat before we post. Like, hey, look at this. We've all talked about it, and there are those kind of copycats that'll come and go. But the ones in that group chat are the ones that have kind of really established what we're doing, and that are good people. And we've all found our own niche. We've all done our thing, and we've most of them. There's a handful that I've been able to meet in person between the Mint and the National last year.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Nationals last year was nuts. I was there. I don't know if you had a VIP ticket, but the opening day, to see how many people that were in that VIP lounge, was crazy. And then the way we just rushed the floor all at once, it was like one of the craziest scenes. Again, this is all still in the middle of a pandemic, so it was a lot of anxiety, like, oh my god, there's so many people around me, but the Nationals to Mint Collective, again, I was a little biased to what to expect at the Mint. I enjoyed the Mint. The Mint was actually a really great really great convention to me, because it wasn't just about the cards. I love the speaking sessions, which was really, really cool. But sales floor, I mean, I think I averaged like 18,000 steps a day. It was nuts.
Huge.
Yeah, it was so nuts. And I've never been to a Nationals before, so I don't know if that was your first time too, but it was crazy. I mean, that was the first instance where I actually got to talk to and meet the DJ Ski. And when I saw him again in Mint, we chatted, and he's probably one of the nicest dudes I've ever met.
Yeah, I agree. Like at the National, we were talking, and I was like, before we leave, can we get a picture? And he just hands me the $1 million trout. And I was terrified. So in the picture, I'm just like, oh, yep, $1 million in my hand.
I know. It's like,
and the guy that was with, and I don't know if it was like his agent or what, and he was like, yeah, I've told him he's got to quit doing that. Like, someone's going to end up running.
Oh my goodness.
It just made me so nervous holding that card.
Oh yeah, it's like, hey, hold this Honus Wagner for me. Like, it's like, wait, what? You want to do what?
And then, so I saw him at the Mint, and I was like, dude, last time I saw you, you just handed me the trout. And he goes, it was awesome, right? I was like, I mean, yeah, but I was also terrified. He goes, well, now you can say you've held $1 million. And I was like, yeah, I guess, but.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys that's just always down to earth, like I said, he's super cool. I have the whole eBay set. I got the 5th one. I don't know if you were in that madness collecting those.
Oh, it was the lines for that. I mean, just to fill out a little form on an iPad. I mean, I had some dude pay me. He's like, "Hey, we have yours today," and he paid me $100. We didn't even know what card I was gonna get. And I mean, so I filled it out. I got mine the first day, and the second day, he's like, here's $100, and I was like, okay, sure, fine.
Yeah, my cousin was one of those guys that was just buying cards from people, and the very first day it opened, that like literally we got there super early, and that was the first booth we hit up, and so we were able to get. There was 4 of us that went, and we were able to get the 4 cards almost right immediately because we were just buying cards off of people. And so I got my collection, and then once my cousin figured out that hey, there's a market for this. I mean, it just went ballistic. He's like, hey, I'll buy this off of you, buy this off of you. You want the set? And he's like, dude, people are buying these sets online. I'm like, what?
It was crazy.
It was nuts. I mean, and I'll never forget, there was a booth, if you're looking at the eBay booth, there was a booth over to the left that was like a vintage card guy. And he started just yelling at everybody because of all the foot traffic. And I mean, I'm not a combative guy. I like to stay positive, but I will stand my ground if someone crosses the line. And so this guy started just yelling at people. I'm just like, okay, look, dude, you knew exactly where your booth was going to be. You wanted this foot traffic next to eBay. That's why you chose that location. Like, calm down. This is what comes with the territory, dude. But I felt bad for him because no one could see his stuff because the crowd on that eBay booth was just like no other. So, do you still have your set?
I think I have 2 of them. I think I've got the Jordan one and then the graduation album cover looking one.
Okay, I still have. You know what? Let me walk away for 1 second. I'll show it to you right now. Hold on. I think I have them readily available. All right, so I have. This is the Chicago Bear.
Oh yeah.
There is the Patrick Kane.
I do have that one. I do remember getting that one.
All right, here's the Jordan. And then we have the Wrigleyville, which is my favorite.
That's my favorite one. That's the only one I wanted.
Yeah. This one was, this is the redemption that came in. I don't know if you got this one. But
no, I never did. I actually never knew what it looked like either.
Yeah, so it's Jordan. Let me get my camera. There we go. It's Jordan with the 6 rings. And it's from the 808, what is it, 808 and Heartbreaks, I think is what it's called. Yeah. Yes, It's 808 and Heartbreaks, and it's actually only numbered to 808. So wow. Yeah, so there was only 808 of these. I've been on the search for looking for number 777 of 808. No one has responded to me. no one has responded to me. I'm still waiting for that card to come in.
That would be awesome.
But yeah, so are you attending this year's Nationals?
Yes, definitely.
Are you going to be doing a booth, or are you going to be just...
I'll be walking around. The booth is a little too much for me. But hopefully next year I can get the booth. Because it's craziness just to even get the booth at the National.
It's a lottery.
The lottery, and it's like 2 weeks after National this year. It's for next year.
Yeah.
It's like when you have to apply for it. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, and so I think if I remember correctly, last year at the Nationals when they did the lottery for this year's, and then I think they're about to do the same thing to do the lottery at the Nationals this year, and that's a lot of when you put that in context, okay, I got to put up $1,500 something like that, and then I got to wait 365 days for you to tell me that I'm actually gonna get a spot. But hey, it's the biggest show around, and it is hella fun. It definitely is hella fun. So
really,
A couple more questions for you. So when someone goes, so I'm assuming you sell all your things. How do people purchase your stuff? Like, you have a website, I'm assuming?
I have a website. Sometimes I'll post stuff, and because I'm pretty lazy about the website, because it's kind of a process to upload everything. And so, after I make a card, I'll post it, and then normally I try to drop 15 to 20 cards at a time on the website. So I might post some things on Twitter and Instagram, and people are like, hey, can I buy that? And so before it even hits the site, they can just DM me, and then they'll buy it from there.
Got you. So when someone says, hey, can you make me a card, do you ask them for ideas, like what do you want the card to look like, or you just kind of run with it and be like, this is what I came up with?
Yeah, sometimes they'll ask like, hey, what do you think would look best? And so I'll show them some examples, or sometimes they come with a full idea. They're like, I want this border, this picture, this patch, this background. And I'm like, perfect. That made my job easy. So I always let them have as much or as little say as they want. And sometimes they're like, hey, I just want a Ronald Acuna. And like any idea, they're like, nope, just go with it. So it's kind of hit or miss what it is they want.
Awesome. So when you get the cards, it depends on the thickness. You send it to the customer all in a one touch, I'm assuming. Mm-hmm. And you got the little stickers on top of the one touch, as I'm seeing. That is, again, I keep looking at that card, and it just stands out so much to me because I know exactly what card, or should I say, because I'm an old Pokemon guy, I know exactly what that is. So that's actually pretty cool. So I can't remember what this border was.
This one right here.
Oh, there it is. So, okay, on what border is this one? I can't remember this border.
It's a black and white checkered. Wait, are you talking about for the Mahomes?
Yeah, for the Mahomes.
It's a black and white checkered that I think they weren't numbered, but they were I think they were the super short print for 2020 Prism football.
Interesting. Okay. So on that note, when you're looking at new product, are you opening the product yourself, or are you kind of just watching breakers open up packs so you get an idea what you're looking for, and then you go to eBay and you just shop for the card?
Yeah, for something like Prism, I'm not gonna buy like a hobby box or anything like that. I can't afford that one. And so I always like pull it up and I look through like the checklist and see what kind of like color parallels there are and different things like that. And then I kind of start searching eBay. Now like I'm gonna hold off when the new Prism comes out, because I know that some random guy with a red border is going to be crazy expensive. And so that's how I've kind of done things, is like obviously like 2018, like this Luca, you can get some of those different color parallels fairly cheap, even though they're numbered, or just because the name of whoever it is that I cut up.
Got you. All right, well, we're about hitting 30 minutes of the interview right now. So in order for someone to go purchase your cards, you have a website. What's your main platform that you actually communicate people with? Is it Twitter? Is it Insta?
I'd say Instagram.
Okay.
Probably my main one. Twitter, I mean, I'm just as active on Twitter, but it seems that I get more DMs through Instagram.
Got you. So I'm assuming the handle is at LJ Custom Cards?
No, it's LJ's _ sports cards.
LJ's _ sports cards. Okay, I'm gonna add that down into the descriptions, guys. LJ _ custom cards. Sorry. Sports cards. God, I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old. But dude, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day, doing this video, showcasing your product. Like I said, I got to meet this gentleman over at Nationals. He was sitting next to the bar, the open bar that they had. They had us little happy.
It was not a bad place. When I originally saw it, it was like the corner. I was like, man, that sucks. But then I was like, ooh, the bar, Nini, like, All right, not a bad setup.
Yeah, and I'm assuming you just had a lot of people just standing in line at the times. At times, yeah. So that was really really great. But man, LJ, I have enjoyed this conversation, man. If you guys want any of his products, follow him on Insta, follow him on Twitter. As you can see in the background, I mean, he makes absolute pristine custom cards for your PC, guys. So, do you have any last parting words, LJ? You want to get out there?
Hey, I really appreciate this. It was awesome meeting you 2 weeks ago at the Mint, and I really do appreciate this. This is a really cool opportunity.
Yeah, and I appreciate everybody in this hobby, man. Let's keep it more positive, keep it pushing. I'm your boy SE1. That's LJ, and this is Meet the Hobby. Peace out, guys.